Hey there, guys. Welcome to the National Championship Game Media Day. As you can hear, the Clemson Tigers, the Fiesta Bowl champions, taking the stage. You see the Louisiana boy right behind me, Travis Etienne, taking the stage. We're going to come back 10 a.m. for LSU, all their coaches and players for their media day as well. But first, a full hour of the Clemson Tigers. And first off, we're going to start off with their quarterback, one of the stars of Monday night's game, Trevor Lawrence. Let's take a listen.
The advantages, really, I think it's just from an experience standpoint. You know, it feels good knowing you've been here and kind of how the week's going to go. So I think just other than that, I don't think it helps too much. You know, the game's going to be won on the field. I mean, it's just you just get so focused on the next one and you know, being great where you are and just winning the next game. You don't really think about, you know, all the ones that you won before and all, you know, what you may win against. I mean, I think it's just, you just get so focused on winning the next one that you get caught up in that, which is, you know, it's a good thing. And then after this season, you know, it'll be nice to reflect, but now is really not the time to think about all the games that we've won. You know, we still got one more. Yeah, it's awesome. It's a cool thing to be a part of. I think we'll look back years down the line and just think about how special this time was for college football, but for Clemson really especially. So I think it's a really cool thing to be a part of.
Remember the last game you lost?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've talked a lot about that these past couple of weeks. Everybody's been asking, so yeah, I remember that for sure.
What was it like to just walk off the field? You know, given all you'd won up until that point.
Yeah, it sucked. It was my last game of my senior year. It was in the playoffs, so it was at home. It sucked.
That quarterback matchup between yourself and Joe, a lot of people saying it's been like 15 years minor. The last time there was a battle of two quarterbacks that have accomplished so much.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously what he's done speaks for itself, and anyone that's watched him knows he's a special player and just a great player. So I think people get a little too caught up in just me versus him. You know, it's us versus them as far as a team. So it's going to be, you know, the best team's going to win the game, and I mean, he's a great player, and obviously we're both going to impact the game, but at the end of the day, the best team's going to win. There's a lot of differences. I think all around the board, these guys have more speed. LSU does, so I think that'll be a challenge, but they also do a little bit more as far as coverages and, you know, mixing things up, disguising than Ohio State did. Ohio State kept it pretty simple, but they just did a really good job at what they did. You know, they ran cover 3, cover 1. And they threw in a couple different things. But other than that, I mean, they kept it pretty simple, but they were really good at it. LSU is, I mean, they mixed it up a good bit.
Difficult was that game for you physically?
Yeah.
You also ran the ball a lot more than you used to.
Yeah, it was, you know, during the game it wasn't too bad. You're just playing, you know, you're caught up in the game and just trying to find a way to win. But then the next morning you definitely feel it and really sore. So that was one of the most sores I've been after a game. So it was. I mean, it was just a hard-fought game. It was a lot of fun to be a part of.
How's the extra week of preparation? This is a long way off the semifinal championship game.
Yeah.
Does it help or hurt you this week?
I think it helps, especially for us. You know, we were in a 4-quarter game, down to the wire. Everyone had to, you know, play the whole game, and just, you know, had some guys just a little bit, you know, dinged up and bruised up. So you want to have some extra time. So I think it worked really well. Then our flight got delayed on the way home too, so it was, you know, we didn't get back till really late that next day, so it was nice to have an extra week. Yeah, it was. Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing is just making our possessions count. At least trying to get a field goal every drive. You know, you don't want to punt too much with an offense like that on the other side. You know, but at the same time, we trust our defense, and I think we got a really good plan, and our defense is always ready. So we trust those guys, but it will be really important to, you know, when we get a stop, to capitalize off that and score points, and not just punt the ball right back to them. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just playing complementary football. For sure. I mean, in these games, you know, you got to play well, especially as a quarterback. You just got to play well if you want to win. So not just me, a lot of our guys, a lot of our players just got to play well, and on the biggest stages, that's when you got to have your players play well. So that's the biggest thing is just the guys that need to, like me, Travis, just receivers, everyone, O-line, everyone has to play well if we're going to win this game. It's been crazy kind of seeing how everything's come full circle. Just being here, I was in California last year, and coming back. It's been a crazy year. It's flew by, but also you look back, it's like, man, this has been a grind. Like this has been one of the longest seasons ever. Like actually, like they say, it's I think the longest season that Clemson's ever had. So it's been long, but it's been awesome. Just this year with these guys, it's really special. This group of seniors, wouldn't want to be here with anyone else. From Cartersville, it's just my immediate family, but I got some family coming from kind of all over. I got family in different states, so. But yeah, we'll have a good bit of people here. I got about 5 extras, so yeah. Mm-hmm.
Talk all the way closer to the mic.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. I think when I watch him, the best thing is just his ability to extend plays. I mean, obviously from the pocket he's really good, but just his ability to, when everything breaks down, to extend a play and either run or, keep his eyes downfield and complete a pass. So I think that's really special. And then just the way he plays the game, he's really smooth. Really accurate. You don't really ever see him missing, overthrowing guys. It's just he's just a really good player. So I think those things, especially his accuracy, are really impressive. I think it's just people that don't understand like college football and what I came here to do, and just to be a part of a school like Clemson, a team like this is really special to me, and I wouldn't throw that year away to just sit out in case of injury or whatever it may be. So I think just as people don't really understand the position that we're in and how we it's not just about money or whatever. It's about just being part of a team and really enjoying being with the guys that you've been here with the past couple of years. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've never thought about sitting out or doing any of that. I don't want to do that. So for me, it's like I said, it's just being with these guys that I've been with the past few years and really finishing and trying to go out on the right note. Yeah, I think just realizing, just enjoying the moment where I am right now, and realizing I have at least one more year, maybe 2. So it's just, it's not that close yet, and just enjoying where I'm at. I mean, this time's special, like I said, just for Clemson and just for college football. This is a really cool thing we get to be a part of, and I think if you look too far ahead, you kind of miss out on the joy of this moment.
What's the best part of this win streak for you? I mean, you guys do have a chance to 3 in a row. There aren't many teams that
The best part has just been, I don't know, you come to school and you have dreams of, winning a national championship and doing all these things, but it's been cool seeing everything kind of come to reality and just everything you work for. And Coach Sweeney, he'll tell us at the beginning of the season, like, hey, if we do this, then we're going to be, like, beginning of the season, we're going to be in New Orleans. And, you believe it and you got a good team, but to actually do it, and the same thing last year, to really do it and prove to yourself that you can do it has been really special.
Extra pressure, things of that sort is not going to help me at the end of the day play the best ball that I can play. So I just have to simplify things as much as I can and just play from within. And I mean, you can't be motivated by external factors. You have to be internally motivated. And I mean, that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me being able to play the best 4 quarters of my life every week. I mean, Tyler Shovel, I just remember him running around on the field, just smacking dudes, me included. Just a big guy. He was very fast back in high school, and I mean, he just explosive, just wreaking havoc on every play. So, I mean, not much has changed either. I mean, you see him on film now, just being that same dude, just being able to create plays, wreaking havoc on anyone who gets in front of him. So, I mean, it's going to be a great matchup again. It's going to be a great matchup, and I mean, you wouldn't want any to win a national championship game. I mean, they're the best team, and we're the best team. We're both champions at the end of the day, so it's going to be a great game, and I mean, this is how you want it in a national championship.
Is the best defense you faced? LSU, was it the best defense you've seen this year, you think? Or how do you
I mean, LSU is a defense of its own. They're a very unique defense. I mean, we don't really come out here comparing each defense week in and week out. I mean, you can't really get into that. But I mean, LSU presents a lot of various looks and fronts and things like that sort. So I mean, it's definitely going to be a great challenge. And I mean, you can look at their stats and everything and see that they're a great defense. And I mean, just the players they have, it's just really crazy that all those NFL prospects they have on their defense. And I mean, we're definitely going to go out there and have to play to the best of our ability and execute. And we really can't beat ourselves because they're a tough defense. To just once you get behind the chains, it's a really tough defense to try to come and fight back. I mean, we don't really get into all that. I mean, we can't concern ourselves with that as players. So I mean, we just have to take that and just use it as fuel. Just use that added motivation. I mean, we can't really take heaps of that and just concern ourselves with how the outside world says. We know we're a great team at the end of the day, and we know what we have in that locker room. And I mean, we just have to go out there and just play to the best of our ability, play for one another, and hopefully the world will see what we're about Monday.
How did Clemson get on the big?
I mean, I had decommitted from A&M, and I had no idea where I was going to go. And Clemson just kind of came in and offered me, and my recruitment was wide open. So I mean, any team could have just came and offered me, and I would have been open to it. And just taking a visit there, I found that I really loved it. And it was a great place. Just left an impression on me and my family, and I just knew I had to be there.
LSU wasn't even recruiting you.
Oh, it has evolved in so many ways. I mean, Coach Winnie just being a great coach, he's going to challenge you to be a great player. He's going to hold you accountable for the things that you do. But he also wants you to be a great man. He also encourages you to go to church every Sunday and things of that sort. Just finding the Lord and believing, and just challenge you to believe in what you believe in, things of that sort. And just don't just take things for granted. He's going to definitely make sure you recognize every opportunity and take most of it.
LSU's understanding wasn't even going to recruit you until Orgeron took over in mid-season. That coaching changed. Does that have any effect on you? Were you paying attention when Miles was fired?
No, not really having any effect on me. I was still open to them, open to the process. I was really open, and I mean, at the end of the day, I just felt like Clemson was the best school for me, and it just happened how it happened. Honestly, I don't even know. Probably was the colors. I mean, just remember watching them vividly, and I also had a cousin who played for the Volunteers, so just watching him, and I just kind of became a fan of them. Jansen Jackson. Honestly, no, I didn't think about that at all. And I mean, Tennessee was like one of my top schools. I took a visit there and everything. Just didn't kind of pan out the way I wanted it to. It's very special for me. I mean, I'm just happy for the opportunity to get back here and just play in front of the home state. And I mean, just being able to have all my family here at the game and not have to take a 11-hour drive. It's more like 2 hours for them. So I'm just really grateful I could take that off my parents and them, just their travel, and they'll be able to come home and see me. Yeah, we got here quite often. I mean, just the people to me, the hospitality. I mean, just how everyone just so friendly around here, and just how everyone treats everyone. I feel at the end of the day, it makes it more special. It makes it that's what makes this game more special. Just coming into this place, we know going to be LSU fans everywhere. So I mean, that's what you want as a. That's what you want from a competitive standpoint, just to go in someone's home and just kind of try to take over. So I mean, it's going to make the opportunity for us just that much more special. For me, from that game, I remember getting smacked by Ronnie Harrison. Just coming across the middle, just him, me trying to hit him, and I kind of led with my helmet, and I kind of hit my head with his head. And kind of like was out the whole first half. And just getting back in the game, and just the game going the way it's going, Alabama having all the momentum, just everything kind of going that way. We're not really playing, not executing things that we can. And, so just that game, and just having that feeling of just not knowing that you gave it your all. And there were things that you could have controlled to have the game go differently. So that's kind of like what I remember when thinking about that, thinking back at it. Just preparation, just watching extra film, just watching extra film and just being aware of the situation that you have at hand, not taking it for granted. I definitely feel like my freshman year I wasn't as focused as I am, and I mean I'm a totally different player than I was freshman year. So I mean just taking advantage of my opportunity and just preparation, watching more film, and just not taking the moment for granted. No, I think Amari had heard me say it in my interview, and he was like, and they kind of asked me like, really? So that's how it kind of came up. Just when I took my visit, there, I just didn't really, I just knew it wasn't a place for me. I just didn't really like kind of vibe with it.
Travis, got a question for you. Got a question. Go ahead, you got it, Cornell.
All right, so listen. So out of 120 players on the team, all your brothers, right? Who was the ugliest kid growing up?
The ugliest kid?
Yeah.
Probably Sylvester.
Thank you, Travis. That's a different one.
Thanks, man.
I mean, for us, not really. I mean, we're one of the great offenses in the country too. I mean, like another team, they'll probably put pressure on them, but we know who we are at the end of the day. We know we're a great offense. We have to go out there and execute and just play to our ability, and I mean, things will take care of itself. Just the culture that we have here, and I mean, just everybody playing for something bigger than themselves. And I mean, we understand who we are at the end of the day and what it takes to get here, and I feel like that really helps us at the end of the day. And we just generally care for each other, so I hope to just take our play to the next level. And I mean, we have great recruits, we have great things like that, and great facilities. So I mean, I feel like it's just the culture here, and just what Coach Sweeney has, just how he built a team and how he put pieces around pieces. And all assets we have here just really works together and helps us be able to get here year in and year out.
All right, hang with us as we are here for the Clemson Media Day, National Championship Media Day. You just heard Louisiana boy, Louisiana native there from Jennings, Louisiana, Travis Etienne. Actually, a interesting comment he made. He said back home they pronounce it a little bit differently, but apparently it is Etienne. We're going right here. Isaiah Simmons, one of the playmakers on defense for this Clemson Tiger defense. Give us just a second. We're going to plug in and set up for you. and bring you more here from Clemson's Media Day.
All of their receivers, their running back, Joe can run it. So I think it's like, what is it not challenging? What is it? Yeah, it's funny because Kayvon Wallace came up to me. He's like, Zay, you got that look on your face. Because I was like, dang, I'm not making no plays, but I was still doing my job. So, you know, sometimes when you're a football player, you got to learn that, like, you could be the guy making the play even if you're not physically making the play. So just keeping that mindset and just seeing my teammates eat. I mean, you could just tell I was just like anxious to make a play. But normally when that happens to people, they try to do too much. You do too much, you normally get beat. So he was just telling me just relax. It was gonna come to me, and luckily it did. Yeah. More and more as the game went along, I felt like I started getting a little more action, started getting a couple tackles, you know, pressures. And then when I got the pick, so absolutely. 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 Yeah, I feel like we had a football season in America, and now we're somewhere else in a different country. Nobody here is on our side. I think that's very obvious. But yeah, it's like we're in a different country because, I mean, we're in their home state. So why would everybody not pull for them? So. Yeah, I mean, I felt it my whole life, so I don't know what, nothing's different now, so I'm just going to keep doing what I do. Yeah, it's a challenge we're definitely going to accept. I mean, they're the most efficient offense, but we're the most efficient defense, so it's going to be a challenge. So just like how they could beat you in any kind of way is really what the main challenge is. So, you know, it'll be great to see where we match up against them. Statistically, I'm really not sure, but I mean, they're completely different teams, so I don't really want to compare them. Yeah. Culture? Family's the best way to put it. We're not teammates, we're brothers. So we have a great culture, loving culture. Um, you know, best is the standard. That's something we live by there. So we try to do everything the best way we can under God's grace. So it's really a really big family atmosphere everywhere you go, regardless if it's people on the team, just staff members at the university, just regular students, everybody. It's just like a big family there. It's a great culture. Yeah, so this is my years at Clemson. I think this is my second Heisman winner that I'm playing. And they've both been quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson. And it's crazy how different they are, but it's also how big of a challenge it is. So I'm excited for it. How smart he is, his decision making, his poise in the pocket, his ability to scramble, accuracy on the run. Uh, I mean, I could keep going and on and on and on down the list. But he doesn't really have many flaws in his game, so that's probably the biggest thing. Yeah. I feel like I don't know. I just feel like we do a lot of things. He's so smart in what he does that I feel like at times he thinks like an offensive coordinator more than a defensive coordinator, and I feel like that's beneficial. I feel like it shouldn't be any other way. I know the fans want to see a high-scoring game and all, but I feel like it's just a good challenge for both of us on both sides.
There's so much attention on Joe and his wide receivers, but Clyde is maybe the better man at running back we've seen him on
How much they feature him in the run game. I like to think of him as a running back with a receiver skill set, but also the running back skill set as well. So I wouldn't say he's forgotten, and at least not in my head. He's not. Yeah, Trevor, he's a really, really mature guy. Ever since I met him, he's been a mature guy, and I know he was going to do whatever was best for the team, best for him as well. So when that happened, I wasn't really worried. I have a lot of faith in Chase Bryce as well. He's came in and won the game for us before, so things like that happen in football. So I just like to control what I can control and worry about what I can worry about. I think this is like almost worse than an away game. It's like we're in another country, but everybody here is LSU fan. We probably won't. We'll have some fans. Our fans travel, but I'm sure that LSU people bought up all the tickets, But it's definitely like a away game in another country. We just turn the music up a little extra loud, just like so we can deal with the noise, obviously. But on defense, I don't really have to worry about that because they're going to be quiet for their offense. But offensively, on their side of the field, they have the music up real loud, just dealing with noise. And same with the special teams. And that's probably about it. Personally, I feel like I can really play any position, even though I'm not built like a D tackle or anything. But in my mind, I feel like I can play any position. So it's really more just taking on the mental aspect of the game and applying it. But I don't know if I answered your question or not.
What's the key to winning in the slot, in your opinion?
Huh?
As a defender, what's the key to winning in the slot, in your opinion?
Winning at the line.
Right off, like, having them off the line.
Yep.
What if people see you line up in the slot against them? What do you think they think?
I mean, if I think they're about to cook me, beat me, do whatever, but they're probably happy to see them matched up on the linebacker, but...
Not so much in this defense. But not so much in this defense.
What do you mean?
Like, facing you, I feel like most of the times the linebacker doesn't have to be this matchup.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
How would you describe LSU's weapons on the inside, both their running backs and tight ends in your slot?
They're all elite players, make a lot of really, really big plays. Every single one of them does. And I'd probably say they're a huge key to the explosiveness in their offense.
Yeah, do you feel like they use their inside weapons more than most teams, especially given how strong they are defensively?
I feel like they really use everybody a lot, so I can't really I can't really pick apart like which ones are get more. Isaiah. Yeah, I mean, we're in their home state, so I don't know how I wouldn't. So, yeah. kind of like it. It's like us against the world. It's kind of how it's been all year. Nobody really wanted us to make it here, I don't think, just from all the talk. But, yeah, I personally enjoy it, just everybody against us. I've always wanted to play LSU, just being here one time, or being here throughout my years. But I think it's cool. Like, it's kind of funny, you know. Same mascot, same stadium name, everything. I can rush the passer. I can play man coverage, zone coverage. I think that's really everything. But I mean, fit the run. Yeah, I have. I've spied it in a couple game plans. Yeah. If you ask me, I think I can do everything, but that might not be true. It might not be true, but mentally, that's just how I think. So, yeah. Wow, I've got this question a lot today. Okay. His ability to scramble, his accuracy on the run, his poise in the pocket, and just his ability to extend plays, his decision making. He's just a really, really smart guy with a great athletic ability. And when you get that, you get a great quarterback or a great athlete, whatever term you want to.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're, of course, if you're just joining us, live here in New Orleans with your National Championship Game Media Day. Right now it's the Clemson Tigers, 10 a.m. Central Time. Here I am. You can see, of course, all of Media Day, but 10 a.m. Central Time, that's 11 a.m. Eastern. The LSU Tigers will take the stage. Right now it is the Clemson Tigers' turn. Let's take a little walk through Media Day, see if we can go find a couple head coaches. There's Kirk Herbstreit, who's going to be on the call there for the game. And right around this corner, we're going to talk to, hopefully, Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney is a popular guy right now. So we're going to try and go set up, see if we can fit in. Give us just a second to set up, and then we're going to listen in to the Clemson head coach ahead of course, this national championship matchup.
No, because at the end of the day, transparent we are in the recruiting process. Hey, this is what the expectations are, and you don't need to come here if you're not all in with that. All right, we're going to go to class. We're going to be great citizens. We're going to hold you accountable. Those type of things, and so it's pretty cool for me to see a bunch of really, really talented young people that really want that, and they're coming along. A part of it. Isaiah Simmons came from Olathe, Kansas. He was my first guy out of Kansas. Christian Wilkins came from Connecticut. So we have to be smart. The big thing for us is the right fit, not the so-called highest rated player, but the best player in our eyes and the best fit for our program. And we always start inside out. We're always South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, Virginia, Tennessee, Alabama, Maryland. That's our base. And then we try to, scout out the best guys that fit our program from all over the country. I mean, I don't know, and if it was, I wouldn't say it. I'm sure they've done a great job. Listen, Coach O's been around. He's been around the block a lot. He's no rookie, so I'm sure that they'll be incredibly well prepared, just like we will be. Yeah, absolutely. No question. I admire any successful coach. I always, I like to study people who are successful, and he's been incredibly successful. And I've followed him and known him a long time, and I've always pulled for him. He's an easy guy to pull for because he's a wear-it-on-your-sleeve guy. He's passionate. It's easy to recognize passion and enthusiasm, and he's got that oozing out of his veins. And I have great respect for that. I think that he truly loves the players. I think he loves what he does, and that resonates. I think with his team and with certainly his fan base and things like that. But I think he's a great football coach. He's done a wonderful job, and it's cool to see because I know he's had I know it didn't go well at Ole Miss, but I think he's a good example to a lot of people because we all fail. We all fail to the world's terms, but I think it's a choice on whether you fail forward, whether you're destroyed or defined by your failure or you're developed by it. And I think it's really cool to see somebody that people kind of label as can't do something or failed at something, and yet he learned and grew and developed and stayed the course and got back up and went back to work, and now to see him at this point, I think that's just what a great lesson, what a great living example he is for a lot of people, but certainly for his young players that he mentors every single day, because he's a living, breathing example of, hey, listen, it's not always perfect. It's not always going to be the way you planned it, but how you going to respond? And when you make mistakes, when you do stupid stuff, does it define you, does it destroy you, or does it develop you? And I think that he's a great example of that. And, he did a wonderful job out there at Southern Cal, and probably still be there if they'd, kept him. But, they for whatever reason, he went in a different direction. And then, but, I just think God orders our steps and brought him to LSU. And, I mean, I don't think you could have a better fit for LSU than Coach O. I mean, it just he truly loves where he is, and he loves his program, and he's passionate about it, and he's put a good staff together, and you can just tell that he cares about LSU and the people of Louisiana, and I think that's awesome, and he's a great story to follow for sure. Yeah, to be honest with you, I did not see it, so I can't comment on it. So, Joe Burrow, I don't know if there's anything I can say that hadn't already been said. I mean, he's special. He really is. I mean, it's just kind of, as I said, just as a coach, makes you sick watching the tape because he just rarely ever makes a mistake. He's always a step ahead. He knows exactly where to go with the ball. You got him sacked, and then you don't. He creates. He's just like this all the time. Even when you watch him, one of the things I watch is like he makes a big play in a huge game in a critical moment, and he just jogs down the field. So he's pretty special. To me, those are things that I look. If I was an NFL evaluator and I want to see how this guy, who he is. I mean, he's just like this all the time. And at that position, I think that's a special quality. No one? Yeah. Great story. Oh, I absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he's like a son, but I do. I feel that same responsibility with all my guys, for sure, to hold them accountable, to teach them, to, give them the tools that they need to be successful in life. That's very important to me, and to just grow them up as men that are ready to go be great citizens in this world. And but certainly there's a special connection there with Nolan, obviously, and that was a great moment. It was a really cool moment. And the cool thing is I told him right before, I was like, hey, man, you're going to have the game-winning interception. Get your dadgum head up. And it was kind of crazy how it all worked out. But you know, he didn't play very well. He had missed a couple plays, and so to see him come back and make that play at the end, really, literally, his feet were the exact same spot of his failure that we were just talking about on that touchdown on 4th and 1. The interception was in the same end zone, same spot, his feet, same gut receiver, and his feet are like right on the S in state. And it's just amazing how that worked out. You know, people say that, but I've had a lot of turnover over the years. We've had a lot of peripheral staff turnover. I've had 3 different offensive coordinators in my 11 years. I've had just 2 different defensive coordinators. Brent's been with me 8 years now, and it's been awesome. I've got since my I think I'm on my 5th defensive line guy. I've had a couple different DB coaches. I mean, we've had some change. I think the biggest thing is when we've had change, it's getting the right people in place. And then more important than anything is just the culture. Just sustaining the culture and starting over every year, holding everyone accountable. And that's probably the biggest thing. And just, again, recruiting. You know, us coaches, we get way too much credit. You got to have players, and you know we've done probably the other thing I would say is just the evaluation and the development of our players over the last decade. You know, because we've had one #1 recruiting class in 11 years, and I think my highest might have been like 7th or something prior to that. So we pretty much have been in the top 15. You know, but we've developed our guys, whether it be a Grady Jarrett, who's a 2-star recruit, who's now one of the highest paid D tackles in the league, a Hunter Renfro, who's a walk-on, who had a pretty good year for the Raiders this year, Adam Humphries, who had 1 scholarship offer, who makes $9 million a year now, a Tyler Shatley, who's been with the Jaguars for 6 years, offensive lineman, that was a linebacker, fullback in high school. You know, I just think we've done a nice job. You know, and then we've had guys like Sammy Watkins, who Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, who were great players. Travis Etienne wasn't a really highly recruited guy, a 3-star guy. So we've identified, evaluated, identified, and developed a lot of good players, and we've done it our way. You know, we've done it simply through the draft, if you will, because we don't, you know, I don't go out and sign grad transfers out of the portal. I don't sign junior college players. I've tried to bring freshmen in. That's how we've tried to do it. So when that's your philosophy, you got to be right. And so I think that's more than anything is just the consistency that we've had in our development and getting the most out of our players that we have had over the years. Oh man, listen, I don't get into all them awards that get voted on. I really don't. I mean, it's special for me to coach this team. It's special for me to coach these guys. I love competing against great competitors. So I don't. It's not special because he's the Heisman. It's special because he's a great competitor and he's on a great football team. That's special. And but yeah, I don't go, oh my goodness, that guy's the Thorpe Award winner or whatever. You know, I don't get into all that stuff. Well, yeah. Same thing I saw in Adam Humphries. I don't know why nobody offered Adam Humphries a scholarship, and when I offered him a scholarship, the media and fan base, people, you know, beat me up. Oh, we're only offering him to get Sharon Peake, you know, because he was a great player, and I'm like, no, this guy can play. And ended up playing as a true freshman, and like I said, makes $9 million a year for the Titans now. So I don't know why other people don't see certain things. Why was Deshaun Watson the 12th pick in the draft? I don't know. I can't answer that. Why was Tom Brady a 6th rounder? I don't know. Why was Grady Jarrett a 5th rounder? I don't know. I can't speak to that. Yeah, I just no, and to be quite honest with you, God worked that out, because we played in Arizona for the national championship at 15, and after the game, I had 4 guys come to me and tell me they were leaving early. I didn't know they were leaving early. And, you know, I'm not one of these coaches that sits around and goes, okay, he's going to leave, and go sign all these guys. Well, what are you going to do if they stay? What do you do then? I'm going to tell you what you do. You got to run people off, and that's not how we operate. So I assume everybody's coming back until they tell me different. And literally, right after the game, like the next day, T.J. Green, Travis Blanks, J. Ron Kearse, and Mackenzie Alexander said, Coach, I'm going pro. I'm like, okay. So we huddled up as a staff. I said, all right, we got 3 weeks. We better go find, or 2.5 weeks, we better go find some DBs. Because we're now in the DB business, because we weren't recruiting DBs. And the one guy I knew, we went and signed 4 guys. And the only guy I knew prior to that point, 2.5 weeks before signing day, senior year. That's why all this early recruiting stuff is so overrated. I love it when everybody's committing all them 10th graders. I'm going to get all them seniors that develop. So 2.5 weeks, I had never heard. I knew Trayvon Mullen. I'd never met him, but I knew who he was. He'd been a guy on our board, and I wasn't sure we were going to have a spot. And so, man, all of a sudden we got a spot for Trayvon Mullen. Well, we get him. He plays for the Raiders now. Started as a rookie this year. Was a great player for us. So Brent comes to me. He says, hey, I got a kid. Let's look at this guy. He goes, let's check it. So, all right, well, there's a whole process we have to go through. You can't just being a good player is like the smallest box to check for us. And we find this kid in Olathe, Kansas, kind of a gangly-looking dude named Isaiah Simmons. He played wide out and safety and just kind of roamed around, 3 deep, run around. And so Brent's like, I'm going to go check him out. And so he had 1 visit left. So we liked him. I went out and met with his family. He came in on his visit. He came to Clemson. Literally, I didn't know who he was 2 weeks before. Then midweek visit, the week before signing day, midweek visit, this guy, Brent, calls me and he goes, hey, there's this kid. I just found him. I want to bring him in this week. He's from Virginia. His name's Kayvon Wallace. He's a late bloomer, but he can do a lot of things. And I'm like, all right, well, let's bring him in. So checked out all of his stuff, grades, you know. So Kayvon Wallace comes in. We get Kayvon Wallace, all right. And so then I'm looking for another guy, and I had offered Nolan a walk-on spot the spring before, but I had not watched 1 play of his senior year. I had not 1 play, and I was like, you know, just something. God just put it on my spirit. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna pull up Nolan. So I pulled up his huddle highlights, and I watched him, and I was like, I mean, I'm trying not to be biased. And I'm watching his tape, and I mean, he plays wide. I just watched Kayvon. I just watched Isaiah. And I'm watching this kid, and he's dominating at receiver and at DB. And you got to understand my connection, because I grew up in Pelham, and Vestavia was one of our rivals. And Buddy Anderson has been the head coach there for 50-something years. He was the head coach when I was playing. So I've known Buddy Anderson forever. And Vestavia High School has put out hundreds of Division I football players. All right, and so I played with some of them at Alabama. And so I called, after I watched it, I called Buddy Anderson, and I said, Coach, I want to ask you something. He had no idea why I was calling. I said, why is nobody recruiting Nolan Turner? And he just kind of, it was like I went, psh, and just, you know, burst the bubble. And he was frustrated about it. And he said, Coach, I can't understand it. He's as good a player as I've had in my 50 years here. He said the kid can run. His best football's in front of him. He's a late bloomer, just like his dad was. And so I had all this working knowledge. And I played with KT, and KT was a late bloomer. And so I took the tape down there. I pulled it up down there with Brent. And I said, hey, I want you to tell me what you think about this kid. And so Brent watched him, and he's like, I love this guy. Where is he? You know, that's how Brent is. And I'm like, that's all I need to know. And so then I made a call. And I said, hey, I'm coming to see Nolan tomorrow. And so it was a pretty special moment. And so that's what I mean. When I say God worked it out, that just happened. And it wasn't some charity thing. People, some of these storylines that people put out there that, you know, Coach Sweeney did this because of his buddy. That all sounds good, but that's not reality. If I didn't have a spot, he wouldn't have got a scholarship. We had 4 guys leave. and we were looking for people, and he earned it. And then he's come in here, and and I told him early on. I said, man, let me tell you, here's what the story. Early on, you're not good enough. You shouldn't be here. We only signed you because coach is friends with your daddy, whatever. I was like, man, you're gonna have to have some thick skin and rise above that. I'm telling you, you can play, and you're going to be a great player. And I talked to him. I'm thankful that I have lots of examples like that. Guys that have come through our program, similar deals. So he's just done an amazing job. He's a great leader. The cool thing for me is because of what he went through with his dad, he was kind of a very quiet, reserved kid. And his dad and I actually talked about that. That was something KT worried a little bit about. And KT was like that. KT was kind of quiet and reserved until you got to know him. And Nolan, for most of his childhood, he just had it was a challenge seeing his dad the way he did. And so, I think just for me watching him develop as a man and seeing him, just the smile that he has, his confidence. Because I think early on, it's like he felt like he had all this to prove, and it's hard, especially in today's world with message boards and social media and all these things, these external pressures that get put on these young men. And so just watching him blossom and develop, smile. He's a great teammate. The players love him. And he's just an unbelievably hard worker. And he has bloomed and blossomed at Clemson and had a great career. He's had some big moments and going to be back next year. He's been an off and on starter for us this year. We kind of consider him a starter, but he's got a chance to really be one of the best leaders on our team next year.
We are on the move once again right here in your national championship game media day. The Clemson Tigers taking the center stage. They're about to wrap it up here in the next 10 minutes, and then hang with us, actually. Right after that, we'll have a 30-minute break, and then the LSU Tigers will take center stage. Let's talk about another coach who's proved a lot. Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator for Clemson, taking the stage. We're going to set up and talk to him next, right here.
If I was coaching that offense, just because I think he brings a whole other element in both the running and the passing game that really complements everybody else.
Listen, I'm never in harm's way. I never had a penalty prior to coming to Clemson. I would be just fine, but he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job, actually probably keeping me from getting injured. Probably so. You'd have to ask him, but we put it in on game day for sure. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, well, look, I'll be honest. We're at the national championship. We got we're one of the best defenses in college football. He's been a big part of that. He was injured earlier this year, but I thought he's had a really good year to go along with us. So, there's no story there to me. Well, that's good. That's good. Certainly not. I don't want any of our guys to be satisfied. How can I get better? So that's a great attitude to have. Before we finish off with this game, then going into spring ball starting soon. So that's a great attitude to have, and excited to coach him next year. Yeah, it's as good as we've seen. Their ability to execute consistently, their precision that they operate both in the run game, the pass game, and at quarterback, his ability to improvise and extend plays and throw on the run and throw under duress. It's pretty special, and it's not a big surprise why he won the Heisman Trophy. He's had that kind of a year, got incredible respect for him. He's just got great poise and a great understanding of both their system and certainly what defenses are doing and where he needs to put the ball. Yeah, Dave's I know Dave well. He's had incredible success his whole career. Terrific football coach, great teacher, has a great understanding of not only defense but offense as well. And I think that's an important element to have as a defensive coordinator. And you know, to me, the best compliment is his consistency of success is elite. And wherever he's gone, or from year in and year out, and you lose players, he's been able to continue to put a great unit out there every year. Well, I think he was at Tech at one time. We had played each other. He's out at Utah State as well, and then in the coaching profession, you try to find people that are doing things well, and you reach out to them. And we've seen each other on the recruiting trail and things of that nature. So talk ideas and system and things of that nature. Yeah. Hey, sometimes you know a lot about them, and they don't even know you're just studying them and watching them, because you can get video from everybody. So you're always looking at ways to get better and improve and continue to evolve. And Dave's been a great example for all of us in this profession. Yeah. Yeah. No, I never. Just what you're doing right now, and it's really pretty remarkable, though. But again, a great example. From one year to the next doesn't have to define you, And with more experience, with a new system, and with some belief and hard work, what's possible, and that's really probably a byproduct of what you're seeing now. But again, they've been incredible all year. Been a lot of fun to watch as a college football fan that I am myself. Their ability to execute against really, really good people, good coaches, good players. They've had incredible success all year, and what a tough matchup, it is for us. Just when he transferred, heard about him, and of course I knew his dad when he was at Nebraska, a great player, and played, on some great defenses for Tom Osborne. Back when Coach Osborne was there at Nebraska, but he's got a great football lineage, and I just got incredible respect for him for having the courage and the boldness that it takes to leave your dream and go somewhere and start over, and just to have that belief. It's one thing I experienced. I went from Oklahoma to Clemson in my own way, and I know how hard it was for me as a whatever I was, 40 years old, to see a young person, 21, 22 years old doing that, and to go win the Heisman, man, that's a great story. Who doesn't love that? So I got a lot of respect for him. Yeah, we actually, when we recruited him, knowing that, again, he's going to be probably a safety type of guy, but we've always used the safety type for that position on our defense. And then this year, changing some things structurally, it was really just to try. We lost so much. We lost 6 linebackers and 6 defensive linemen at 12 guys in our 2 deep. So just trying to play to our strengths. And he was also a byproduct of that. And but it wasn't just him. It was really our strengths was our back unit. And then I really actually felt good about Jamie and Chad Smith. Just they hadn't ever started a college football game at linebacker, but they really were instinctive and knowledgeable, players. A lot of people didn't really hear much about them going into the year, but we had a lot of confidence, in those 2 guys also, because there's got to be some connectivity between the front end and the back end, and those 2 guys were able to help us do that. How what? I don't know. I never asked him, hey, what do you think? Should we do this? I'll be honest. I'm sure I think he liked it, when we're doing some stuff. I think he loved putting the pressure on himself and knowing that he's at a playmaking position within the confines of the defense. No more important, though, than anybody else. He does have a unique skill set and some of the things that he can do, so, make no mistake about that. You don't just Chad Smith probably, and he does some things really well. He couldn't do some of the things Isaiah does, so I don't want to downplay that aspect of it whatsoever, because Isaiah's a very unique individual that also has football intelligence to go along with it, so that you can do some multiple things too. Yeah. I got a head coach that he doesn't give you the time in your staff meetings, in your position meetings, in your segment meetings, or your time on the practice field. I'll be very honest. So when we first started practicing, you're looking at, an hour on the field, and part of that's special teams, and some of that's good on good against the offense. And then you got individual period, and then you got a little bit of team time, not much, and where you're working scout work. And so he's kind of progressed. He's a master at it in preparation, and knowing when to pull back and when to cancel a practice or cancel a meeting or shorten a meeting for something else. We do community service. He keeps our guys busy but engaged, hungry, excited. He wants them to have some fun, because it can too much, can be a bad thing. And for us coaches, for me, if you said, hey, you want 15 more minutes or you want 15 less minutes, I'm saying I'm signing up for 15 more all day. But he does a great job of pulling back and giving us just enough so that we don't have too much time. But that is a byproduct. That can be a byproduct of having, too much time. We've been going however long it's been since the end of July, and it's like 10 and 10 on the treadmill, and this is the longest season in the history of college football, and it feels like it sometimes, but it's been so much fun, and because it's been such a fun group of guys to coach. And again, Coach Sweeney just does an amazing job of managing us as a staff and managing the team the right way, so that he takes the pressure off. He demands that you have joy in the doing, and when you get so busy, just having passion about what you're doing every day, it makes your job easier. The pressure and all that, it's not there. All right, yeah, thank you. That's a great question, and I had a year to probably think about it, to be honest with you. And so to me, I just wanted to make sure that I held them accountable like I hold every other guy accountable. I know your players are paying attention to that. So I wasn't going to change. I'm going to take my opportunities to love on him and encourage him. But I try to do that with all my guys. And I try to take moments when we're in the football facility, still be dad. And, maybe you stop by his apartment on the way home at 10:30 at night so you can catch up with him. He's in the middle of his grind. I'm in the middle of my grind. But you want to try to enjoy the journey together, because it's very unique and very special. It's Coach Sweeney. Yeah, it's Coach Sweeney. And it's important to him. You can't preach family and promote family, and you can't fabricate family. And so, he means what he says and says what he means, and, that's who we are. So it's really been, a very easy transition. I think that's a huge part, There's a lot of reasons, but when you work for incredible people that get it, that have the right perspective on life, that value the things that you value, and give you the autonomy that you do, that he does, and then we have the alignment administratively, and in a wonderful community like Clemson, where you got incredible support, where you can have a chance to win every week. It's a perfect combination. I'll be honest, I'm embarrassed to say I have no idea. Wait, hold on. Kayvon Wallace. I'm just Isaiah. Okay, Tanner Muse. I have no idea. DK. Yeah, was that Florida State? Yeah. Florida State. I don't know. Logan. That's right. Boston College. I don't know. I just a lot of things I remember. It's usually the bad plays. I just got a sickness that I can't overcome myself. I can't get on my own way. You asked me about the explosive plays we gave up. I remember all of them.